WROC 93.5 The Rock. The Rock. Broadcasting from a van down by the river.
Hi there. Are you a large person, pleasantly plump, a little on the hefty side perhaps? Well, let's face it. Are you fat? When you go jogging, do you leave potholes? When you make love, do you have to give directions? At the zoo, do elephants throw you peanuts? Do you look at a menu and say, okay? Well, now you can eat all you want, because at Thornton Mellon's Tall and Fat stores, we've got you covered. That's right, fine woolen and woolen blend suits and sport coats in all the larger sizes. Husky, stout, extra stout, and the new Hindenburg line. And for you ladies, we have caftans, hoo-hoos, and our own exclusive A-frame in all colors and patterns. Yes, we have miles and miles of fabric. So take it from me, Thornton Mellon. If you want to look thin, you hang out with fat people.
Thornton Mellon's Tall and Fat, 150 locations across America.
Hello, I'm Frank Bartles, and this here's my partner, James Brown. As the weather starts getting too hot, we hope you will reach for one of these. New Bartles and James Brown wine cooler.
It tastes good.
They come in 3 funky flavors. Gravity grape,
Get down.
prime of passion fruit,
Woo! Kill myself.
and my personal favorite, papaya.
Papaya's got a brand new day.
It'll get you off faster than a big city lawyer.
Woo!
And a single pack serves 6 to 10, just like James.
New Bartles and James Brown wine coolers. The Cooler, made in the cooler.
Now behind bars everywhere.
And thank you for your support.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. It's about the game.
Welcome to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. This is JB alongside the host, Billy O. What's going on, Billy?
Hey, JB. Not a whole lot. Ready to knock out another show tonight. How about you? You ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm always ready, especially after the day I've had today. I couldn't wait to get here. As you noticed, I was a little late getting in tonight.
Yeah, that's 2 times. You know, the third time, what is it? Written reprimand, right?
I know it. Well, you know, I've been battling St. Louis traffic all day today, so it was a little annoying, need to say, or should I say anyhow. So
let's do a little bit of a headphone check here. Bump me up a little bit, right? A little bit more right there. There you go.
All right. Is that good?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, good deal.
All right, so great show tonight. Last week had an awesome show. If you haven't tuned in yet to watch that recorded version, you should. You're missing out.
Tell you what, that was one of our best shows yet. So far, we've had almost 500 views on that show on Facebook alone.
Yeah, that's not too bad. So hopefully we can breach that tonight.
Absolutely.
Got some good guests tonight. You want to butcher up the names there, JB, or you want me to go through it?
Oh, you know, it's always fun to butcher people's names. So, you know, they used to call me the butcher at my previous job.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I worked in a meat shop.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got you.
All right, so guests tonight, of course, we've got Adam Millsy. He's going to come on and give the wiffle ball tournaments report for this weekend. And then, of course, we're going to be talking to him also. That's going to be at 7:15 Central Standard Time. And then following him is going to be Rob Langeroux. Langeroux, okay, well, you know. And then at 9 Eastern or 8 Central Time, Gary Lavoie.
Yeah, that's it.
And then at 9:30 Eastern or 8:30 Central Time, we're going to have David Royd Toast Wood right here.
That was good. You got it. You got it all. JB, I think I'm about to lose my voice.
Have a drink, okay?
I think I ate too many Rice Krispie treats.
You know, they'll make you dry there really bad. So
I was going to bring some in here to the studio tonight.
Right.
You think that would be a good thing?
Well, I don't know. The crunching on the mic might not be really good. So,
all right. Well, there's something here about our guests that I picked up on, and I've got to say I'm not too happy about this aspect. See if you pick up on it. So our first guest comes in from New Jersey.
Right.
Our second guest comes in from New York. Our third guest comes in from, let's say, New England. And our last guest comes in from Georgia. So can you pick up on what the problem is there?
One of them does not belong.
Right.
Right.
Why isn't there a New Georgia? You know, that's always bothered me for as long as I can remember. Why isn't there a New Georgia?
That's a good question. I guess because everybody likes the old Georgia.
Well, there is an old Georgia. It's over, like it's a Asia, southern Asia,
right?
Like Russian. It was Russian controlled for a long time. Azerbaijan. I actually had a good friend of mine that was from there. But why isn't there a New Georgia? I think you Southerners screwed up a long time ago.
Well, that's why. Why isn't there a new Illinois? That would be a great thing too.
That would be a really good thing.
Absolutely.
There needs to be a new Illinois.
Needs to be about I-80 South.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd probably even settle for 70 South.
70 South, I think, would be the ticket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, I tell you what, this weather has been absolutely crazy. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the United States, but here in Southern Illinois, went straight from winter to summer. And when I say summer, today it was 88 degrees and humid out.
Yeah. Is that humid or is that humid?
Either way.
Either? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always get confused about when someone says humid. I start thinking of Arizona, Yuma, Arizona.
Yeah.
Hey, before I forget, let me do shirts of the week real quick.
Absolutely. Can I get a whiff of that?
Yeah, actually, I've got two this week to make up for our lost week we did a few weeks ago. So number one, real nice shirt coming in from
Whiff.
Mid-Atlantic Wiffle put these out. Pretty nice shirt, well done. Get a hold of Mid-Atlantic Wiffle if you'd like to pick up one of these. They probably have a few left. Real nice shirt, guys.
Absolutely, very nice shirt.
Next up, an old Fast Plastic NCT shirt. There's still a few of these around. I've seen a few guys wearing these back.
Is that 2005? I think it says there on the front.
Yeah, 2005, and it's got all the teams that attended the NCT that year on the back.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, that's a class. That's a Fast Plastic classic right there.
FPC.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, that was our shirts of the week.
Very good. Very good. You know, that makes me think I was wearing my Fast Plastic NCT shirt from 2009 the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was the year we broadcast the game on the station here.
Did you have a bunch of chicks come running up trying to rip it off of you?
Well, no, I was actually mowing, so I had some bees chasing me, actually, so it was the buzz.
Yeah, I guess it was all the buzz. So, plug the Fast Plastic NCT, guys. The Texas Open coming back this year. Columbus Day weekend, October 6th, which is a Saturday.
Absolutely.
As always, it's always going to be on a Saturday. Still a one-day tournament.
I was going to say the big announcement for those of you that didn't see last week's show about the Fast Plastic NCT tournament, $10,000 to the first place team.
Minimum payout, $10,000 coming from our sponsor, who is
Kings Racing
Stables.
Yeah, okay. We're working on a spot for King Racing Stables, so.
But yeah, he's coming through big time for Fast Plastic. So again, Columbus Day weekend, October 6th, Frisco, Texas, $10,000 payout to first place, plus a bonus if you meet certain criteria. So get on the website, fastplasticnct.com. And guys, I can tell you right now, we're going to have registration set up for everybody to start within the next week or two. I've already got several teams contacting me wanting to know. So I'll be having a form made and put up on the site. And the way I plan to do it, it's going to be, I guess what we call it, progressive registration, meaning early registration probably is going to start at $100 per team, and by the time we get down to August, you're looking at possibly 200, 250 to register. We want to get everybody registered, get all that hard stuff finished in advance, and then we're going to promote the hell out of this tournament, give everybody a ton of publicity, press releases, the whole 9 yards. So early registration, the early bird
gets the worm.
Yeah, there you go, early bird. So look for that on the Fast Plastic website, fastplasticnct.com. JB, what do you got?
Well, I was going to say, I was looking here in the monitor at the WROC 93.5 logo there by you, and I see we've got a new sticker on there. Heil Sound.
Oh, yeah. New sponsor
for
the show.
New sponsor, and you're actually on a Heil mic now. This is made by Bob Heil out of Fairview Heights, Illinois. Bob Heil is a legend. He's actually in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his microphones and his squawk box that he did for Joe Walsh.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's impressive.
Yeah. Heil Sound.
JB coming through again for the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Awesome.
Yeah, that's you sound really good too, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard that many times over the years, off and on. So although I think I'm going to lose my voice before the night's over. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
We don't want to do that.
Last little announcement here. I will make. Actually, you want to make it, so I might rest my voice here.
Absolutely. May the 16th, which would be our next show next Wednesday. It is a holiday here at the WROC 93.5 studios and the Fast Plastic Radio Network. So we will not have a show next week, but we will be back the following week. And have we got a lineup for you on that show? I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and tell them who's going to be on the show on May 23rd. We're going to have Tim Dean. He's going to be here. We've got Kevin Babler. Looks like, is that Sylvie Serrano? And the last guest is to be determined. That means we've got so many people that are calling and requesting, wanting to get on the show and talk about their teams, their tournaments going on and stuff that we've got so many we don't know what to do with right now.
Yeah, so let me elaborate on those guests real quick. Of course, Tim Dean, he's the man down in Austin, Texas. I'm going to talk to him about his league or tournaments that he's got going on down there at his permanent wiffle ball complex. Tim Dean also runs the NCT for Fast Plastic. He's a legend. He knows how to run a tournament. Kevin Babler, we all know him as Babs, and he's got his wooden wiffle ball bats out there, Big Flies. Babler also very famous, playing for Chico Bamboos back in 2005. Yeah, there you go. The Bamboos. Sylvie Serrano, everybody knows him from the circuit, plays all over the country, been playing for 10 years or so. Interested in hearing what he's got going on up in Northern California. And the to be determined, guys, you're going to love this one. Jared Lamp, Moonshot Bats, coming on the show. We're going to talk bats. We're going to talk his playing career and probably tell you guys a lot of stuff that you probably don't know about Jared. But anyway, that's going to be a very good interview with Jared. I'm looking forward to that. So 2 bat makers coming on the show next week.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. How about
pretty
that?
Awesome. All right. Well, are we ready to find out about the wiffle ball tournaments going on this weekend here in the United States and to the north in Canada? Who knows? Maybe we've got something going on to the south in Mexico, maybe Puerto Rico. I don't know. But the guy that does know is on the line, and we've got him right here. What's going on, Millsy?
Hey, guys. How's it going? Nothing coming up in Mexico, but in a couple weeks, there's one coming up in Argentina.
Oh, very cool. Argentina, huh? Where would that be?
Tucumán, Argentina. It's a group of guys that reached out to me on Facebook, and they seem to throw a couple tournaments a year.
Wow. I wouldn't mind making that tournament. How about that?
Yeah, they've actually invited a bunch of people down trying to get some big world tournament going, but hasn't happened yet. So hopefully we can make that happen one of these days.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. So what else? Any other? I'll let you go into whatever you've got on your calendar, Millsy, and then I want to talk to you about the your appearance at the Mid-Atlantic Wiffle Tournament last weekend. So
all right.
I'll let you.
So tonight the Leroy Wiffle has their opening day, and that's in Crown Point, Indiana, and they're part of the NWLA, and they're a medium pitch, scuff ball, yellow bat, run the base league. I haven't talked to any of those guys, but I've heard them on the Two Wiffle Dudes podcast before, and it seems like they got a pretty good league going up there.
Millsy, we were actually watching them live on Facebook before the broadcast started. It seemed,
oh, were you?
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like a decent little game going on, but I think they need to work on some pitching. That's just my thoughts.
Okay. I'll have to give that a check. So the next one I have is the New Baltimore Parks and Rec has a Wiffle League starting tonight, and that's in New Baltimore, Michigan. And the only thing I could find was that they provide the bats and the balls, which in my past experience usually means it's yellow bat, unscuffed, medium pitch league.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Then the next one I have is 97.1 The Fan has a wiffle ball tournament this Saturday in Columbus, Ohio. And then we have Backyard Wiffle Ball League has their 14th annual charity classic this Saturday, and that's in Wilkes-Barre, PA. It's a yellow bat, scuff ball, run the bases tournament. And I believe I saw Jimmy Cole was going to that one.
Okay.
Next, we have Chief John F. Skrosky Memorial Wiffle Ball Tournament. It's their 6th annual on Saturday. That's in Watley, Massachusetts, and they claim to be one of the biggest in New England, but I wasn't able to find any rules on that. Then we have Backyard Rule. It's the one I usually have a bunch of tournaments for them down in Florida.
Yeah.
They're actually hosting a tournament in Lake Park, Georgia this Saturday. And just to remind everyone, that's a medium pitch, yellow bat, run the base league. And lastly, in Florida, I have the Florida State Wiffle Ball League. They have a fast pitch tournament in Orlando on Saturday and a slow pitch tournament in Winter Garden, Florida on Sunday.
Awesome. So lots of tournaments out there, guys, track down. Go to wiffleballtournaments.com. Adam Milstead runs that, does an awesome job. And as always, tell us how somebody can list their tournaments there, Adam.
Hey, Adam, are you there? Adam, I guess we've lost Adam.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can get him back on the line here momentarily. We'll go back to a little talk bed here. And I
wonder, that's strange there.
I don't know. Something strange happened for sure. He was there and gone.
Yeah, so he brought up Lake Park, Georgia. I'm going to check in a little bit later when I'm talking to David Wood and find out where that is. I've never heard of Lake Park, Georgia. But I would venture to say it's somewhere in the south of Georgia. Well, got a chance here, guys. Fast Plastic Rule Book has been updated. It's on the website, and I advise that everybody goes to that, read it thoroughly. Check out the bat rule. A lot of illegal bats being used these days, and it will be enforced in Texas.
Okay, Millsy, we got you back now, right? Hey, Millsy, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm not sure quite what happened there, but I apologize for that, guys.
No, that's okay.
No problem.
All right, so
where did I leave off before I disappeared for a little bit?
Well, I was just saying that there's still a lot of tournaments out there for guys to get out, and I was asking you about how somebody can get their tournament listed on wiffleballtournaments.com.
Are you hitting the mute button or something? We can hear you.
No, it's real low. I don't know if I'm having a phone issue or what.
Okay, can you hear us now?
Yeah, that's definitely better.
Okay, so tell us where the listeners can get a hold of you to give you information about their tournaments coming up.
Yeah, so you can just go to wiffleballtournaments.com and click on the contact page, and there'll be like a little submission form, and you can put your email address in there and start contacting me through email, and I'll get some information for you and post your tournament up to the site.
All right, excellent. All right, so let's get to it. So you didn't win the Mid-Atlantic tournament. What happened? Tell me all about it.
Oh, man. So firstly, I'll say that Sarno is a beast. That kid pitched all day for the Stompers, and when we faced him in the semis, he shut us out. I think we might have had 1 or 2 hits, a couple walks, and he won it on a solo home run. So he was on fire that day, and it's definitely carried over because I think that was like his 3rd tournament win in a row between the 2 Mid-Atlantics and even Golden Stick last week.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. There's something about that strikes me as odd. I've been told numerous times over I'd say the last year and a half that guys just can't pitch 20, 25 innings anymore and be effective. It's just impossible. That it's not like it used to be. Well, here we have firsthand a guy pitching 25 innings, dominating and winning a tournament, correct? So it can be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And the team that he faced in the finals was the New School Risers, which is a guy that used to play with the Old School Risers, who was a pro team. I don't know if you remember him. Dave Kappa. I can't say his last name.
Yeah,
but he played with his 15-year-old daughter and his 13-year-old son, and he pitched all day as well, just throwing fire all day and crushing the ball. He was an animal out there too.
Yeah, I remember Cap, lefty.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he played in Texas, so he's definitely one of the better ones back in the day. So
even his kids swung the bat pretty well too. It was impressive.
You guys, the York Yaks, how much did you get to pitch, and anything going on with the team? I mean, any talks of how you can improve or beat the Stompers, I guess?
Yeah, so that tournament, Bull, who's supposed to be our other top pitcher, was actually injured, so he was playing with another team for fun. So once we get Bull back, we should do much better on the pitching side of it. Our bats weren't as good as we had hoped. I mean, Potter, once he gets going, he's just scary to face. I'm glad he's on my team, but it took him a few games to get going. Once he gets going, he was just crushing the ball. Yeah, I mean, I threw 2 full games and then a 3rd place 2-inning game, and my arm felt good. I just missed on a couple pitches, and sure enough, they ended up on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, that will happen. Did you win all your games you pitched?
I won the game 4, which we needed to win to get into the playoffs, and then I lost the semifinal game against Sarno and the Stompers. And then the 3rd place game, we lost again 1-0. Connor Young hit a solo shot off me.
So what is the injury with Bull? Do you know?
Something going on with his arm. He at the last tournament, he pitched a couple games, and then the very next day, went out and QB'd for his flag football team. So I don't think it was anything too serious, but he wanted to rest up this week, so we gave him the day off.
So any other teams stand out at the tournament other than Cap's team and the Stompers? Anybody else grab your attention?
Yeah, so Connor Young's team, the team we lost to in the 3rd place team, ERL, they have a solid pitching team. It's Connor, who's a stud, and then he actually found a couple kids on YouTube. One's Dan Whitener from Virginia, and the other one's Blake Hoffman from Ohio, and they both just throw fire. Unfortunately, Blake's game, he gave up a walk-off home run, but he's a stud, and he'll get better. I think that was only his second fast pitch tournament, so he's going to get better as it goes. And Whitener was just throwing heat all day. I don't even think he gave up a run in the 2 games he pitched.
Wow, yeah, those guys have some potential. They still have the lefty, Joe, I think's his name. Is he on the team still?
They have a kid named Joe. It's Connor's friend. He's actually been working out some pitches too. But that's their one downfall is they don't really have a solid bat right now.
Yeah.
They're very like hit or miss. But I heard Gerard, Gerard Fitzgerald is on their team, and once he starts playing with them, he's gonna bump them up big time because he crushes the ball.
Nice. Yeah, that'll be a solid squad there. Hopefully they can rally the troops and make a trip down to the Lone Star State this October. That'd be fun to see those
Yeah,
guys.
absolutely. I know they were talking about getting Gerard to definitely get on their team for that, and there was talks of maybe getting Potter, which would be a solid bat for them too. So, I mean, the pitching's there. They just need to find that solid bat to carry them, and once they get the offense going, they're going to be a force.
Yeah, you could see 3 or 4 solid teams coming out of Mid-Atlantic coming to Texas this year. It's very possible. That'd be exciting. So
yeah. Hopefully they get a couple down there. That's for sure. Then there's another team there. Ridley Park Wiffle Ball League guys showed up, and that's another team. They all hit really well. They all pitch. Every single one of them pitched a game, and each one of them throws fire and has a numerous amount of pitches. So unfortunately, they had like a run in with Cap in the semis, and his bat took care of them. And if they won that game, I think they would have probably made it to the finals.
Yeah. So do you know when the next Mid-Atlantic tournament, what's the schedule? What's the next date?
Yeah, it's June 16th.
Okay. Yeah, so
yeah,
I think,
unfortunately, I have a wedding, so I won't be making that one. But the next one is June 16th, and then I think the one after that's July 14th.
you're not getting married, are you?
No, not me. I got another probably year or two for that.
Yeah, weddings have ruined many a whiffler.
That's what I hear. Weddings and kids. Although Cap proved that wrong this weekend.
You know, a wise man once told me, Millsy, stay single and raise your kids the same way.
All right. Well, you got any other notes from the tournament? I mean, I don't really have anything else. I think you pretty much covered it, unless there's anything else you have to add there, Millsy.
No, I'll just say that the Cook brothers, they put on pretty solid tournaments. This is the third one I've been to, and each one's better than the last. And it's very competitive. Everyone has a shot every time you show up. And Shirey with the fields, man, he did really nice job on those fields, especially Sheffield. That's one of the nicest fields I've ever played on.
Yeah, so you got 3 guys that have been involved in the sport for a long time. They know what they're doing. They know how to appease the players. You know, they know what the players want and what we need, and they know how to get the tools and get it done right. So you can't go wrong by playing there in Mid-Atlantic. And tell us what town that is where you actually play, or what you're close to.
Yeah, it's York, PA. So I'm not really too familiar with the area, but I know when I drive home, it takes me through Maryland. So it's pretty close to Maryland, PA border.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So it's kind of, I don't know, what is it? 20, 30, 40 minutes north of Baltimore, I think, something like that. So it's not too far.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah. All right, man. Well,
yeah.
we no show next week. We're going to take the day off, and but we will get you back on, what is it, JB, the 23rd?
The 26th, actually.
26th. Oh, no, I think it's the 23rd.
No, it is the 23rd. I looked at it
23rd,
wrong.
yeah. So be ready on the 23rd, Millsy. We've got a lot of catching up
Great,
to do.
I look forward to it.
All right, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming on, and better luck next time, right?
Yeah, don't predict us to win. I think that was the killer right there.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
All right, man. WiffleBallTournaments.com. Get out there, guys. Check out what's going on. JB?
Millsy, appreciate
Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Yeah, see you later.
Have a good one. All right, Millsy with the updates, WiffleBallTournaments.com. Be sure and check it out and get a hold of Millsy and let him know about your tournaments coming up. He'll get it posted on the website and maybe help you get a bigger turnout.
Yeah, definitely. It's some much needed tournament listings.
Absolutely.
Much needed. So, yeah, we got our next guy coming up here shortly. What was his name again, JB?
Let me see if I can do this. Rob Lajou. No, Lingerie.
There you go. Yeah, Rob Lingerie. I'm going to actually have him pronounce it correctly because I'm probably butchering it as well.
Yeah, who knows? I know I am. So yeah, that's the joke of the show right there. Let me pronounce the names.
Yeah. So what's going on the boards over there? Anything good? Anybody talking trash? Or?
No, there's no trash talk going, but we got quite a few people that's logged in, that's watching the show. And I just want to take a quick minute and get some sponsors in here. Of course, the Fast Plastic Radio Network being brought to you by King's Racing Stables out of Texas. And
ta-da.
Yeah, ta-da. I did it again. Here we go. Burl's Chainsaw Shop. Tired of your mama's steak knives? Use a chainsaw by Burl for all your ball stuffing needs. It's faster.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Fast Plastic Radio Network.
So we had the idea to have the 21 chainsaw salute at the NCT this year. We're still working on that idea. Actually, I'm working on it. I think I'm going to try to maybe get that done. So the question is, should we have it to where the chainsaws actually have the chains removed, or should they be in full attire?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess you got to think about the safety aspect of it. So, it depends if you want to be safe or not. So let's talk about, you're talking about chainsaws. Let's talk about butchering. We have our next caller guest on the line. We've got Rob Lingerie on the line. And Rob, hopefully I've not butchered your name.
You wasn't too bad, actually.
Well, thank you.
Lingerie.
Very good. Thank you.
Hey, Rob. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Billy, anytime. Nice to talk.
Yeah, we've been trying to get you scheduled on here for a while now and just busy. So, yeah, great to have you on here. And hopefully we can cover some hard-hitting issues coming from...
Absolutely. I'm prepped and ready to go. I'm happy to join you guys.
All right. So
all the big names have been on the last few weeks, so I figured I'd throw my name into the hat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're right up there with the best of them. So first of all, where are you coming from, Rob? Tell everybody where you're from.
I'm from New York. I live in Seaford, which is on Long Island. Familiar with Jones Beach, famous beaches there. So I live near the ocean and live that lifestyle.
Nice. Would you rather be like living on the ocean, on the beach, say in Hawaii, Florida, California, rather than Long Island?
Probably, but they're both equally as expensive, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are.
It's a little pricey here in New York.
Although Hawaii probably wouldn't be the best place to be right now. So
no, I at least I don't have lava in my backyard.
Well, you're looking at this all wrong. They're expanding the real estate right now.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, JB. So you're up there in the media capital of the world. So one of my questions for you is, have you ever been interviewed on a radio show, podcast, any of the above before, talking with?
I've actually been on live television twice. Once I did an in-studio interview on Wiffle Ball on Long Island, and another time they did a live interview from the fields during one of our tournaments. It was from our local news station, and it was pretty intimidating. It was actually about 10 years ago, and I was only 20 years old, and it was a little intimidating, but I did it.
Yeah. So did you get any response from it? Guys tracking you down saying, hey, how do I get involved?
We actually, in 2011, we ran a tournament on Long Island, and we were able to get an article about Wiffle on Long Island in the local newspaper. And I actually had to take off 2 days of work just because I was being bombarded with emails and phone calls about random people who wanted to play in this tournament. And we went from having like 8 teams to having 24 teams, and I had to tell people no because I didn't have enough time to get them all in. And, you know, it was a real luck shot. Actually, Dan Lanigan had a hook at the time from someone who was working at the newspaper, and he set it all up. And it wasn't even just like a little spot ad about a tournament. It was literally a 2-page spread about wiffle on Long Island. I still have the picture. Anthony Didio was one of the big pictures, and Dan Lanigan was also on there. It was pretty amazing, and it's shameful that I haven't replicated that since.
Yeah, get that out there. I'd like to see that and read. It'd be pretty interesting.
I do still have the article. I'll have to take a picture and post it. I'll post it one day on the Facebook page or something.
You and I were having a discussion a while back, and you said that I don't remember if we were talking or texting or email, what it was, but you'd mentioned that you're involved in the sport on multiple levels, meaning, you know, you promote it, all leagues, all organizations, all tournaments, whatever. Can you talk a little bit about your involvement, you know, things you've done in the past, what you're trying to accomplish in the sport? And, I won't bombard you there. I'll let you kind of go into that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's honestly, you know, I've always been a player first. The organizational role is kind of like an organic thing that has happened over the years because I've wanted to play so badly. So the only way to play is to say, screw it, I'll do it myself. And organize events and get guys. And the internet is a wonderful thing. Texting is a wonderful thing. Outside of tonight, I'm not really a phone call guy, but it's much easier to get in touch with people and be like, I know you're interested. I'm like, do you want to play in a tournament? The next thing you know, you have a league. The next thing you know, you're running bigger events. So that's like, it's like a 2-sided coin for me because I really just want to play, which kind of gives me the urge to promote events and play in different things and try to grow a bigger tournament or a league or whatever. It's kind of the only way. If it goes away, it's like, well, who's going to do it?
Yeah, I've been in those shoes before, so I know exactly what you're talking about. When I lived in California, there was virtually nothing, no tournaments, no wiffle ball to be played at all. So I just decided I'm tired of flying to Jersey and Connecticut. I'm just going to do it here. So it takes a lot of balls, quote unquote.
It takes a lot of time and effort, and it's a lot of thankless work, to be honest. But I do really enjoy it. I say it to multiple people when they see me sweating after a tournament, packing up all the crap and putting it in my car. I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it. Right. You know, so it's one of those things where it's like, it's worth the work. It's almost work that you look forward to. You know, you work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and it's like, well, I'm doing more work on the weekend than I am during the week, but you know, it's the work I want to be doing. So
yeah, exactly. So of all these things, all different promotions that you've done, what's your most accomplished? You know, is there one that just stands out above all others?
Well, I think just uniting different whifflers. I like you mentioned, I've played in different formats. I've played all over the country. I've met so many different people who played different styles, and I've always tried to somehow bring everyone together, whether it's, hey, we'll go to your league one year, or you come to us, or hey, you're getting a tournament in Maryland, I'll try to get your team down there, even if it's 4 of us one time so we can meet you. And then you replicate that, even if it's 3 years down the road. And, you know, Milstead's doing a really great thing with, putting everything together. And it's really the only way, because everyone wants to play their own way. And that's their prerogative. It's understandable. It's very difficult to have this entire envelope across the entire country where everyone plays the same way. You know, it could be done, but it's not true reality. I think everyone at the end of the day wants to play their way, and if there's just people who are hardcore enough who want to play no matter what, they're going to go travel to any event that they want to. So bringing people together, to me, is my biggest accomplishment, and that's what I continue to do, even as, you know, I may play less or can't get to different tournaments. So, you know, that's my end goal.
Okay, well, I'm curious. One question here: what's your preferred way to play? Do you like league play, or do you prefer a tournament, one-day tournament type setting?
When I first started, this is a little shout out to my local guys, which includes some, really savvy vets at this point. Milstead mentioned Gerard Fitzgerald before, who grew up, 10 houses away from me. Phil Fresiello, who lives 3 blocks away. These guys are in the league because I started and I dragged them in and said, you got to play. We can't keep playing at the lot, which is where we started, which is where we played a league with 12 of our best friends and made it happen. We had stats. We played every night. We'd sneak out of the house at 10 o'clock at night in high school and go play. And be like, well, it's a league night. Like, I'm not out on the streets drinking. We're literally playing whist down the block. Like, that's what we're doing at night. And, everything really snowballed from there.
Okay, so I guess you would say you prefer league play then.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I think league play is probably easier, if for locally, speaking locally, if you got a group of guys that are 3-4 houses down, obviously a league is the way to go. I've never
Here you go. As a tournament director, tournaments are the way to go.
Yeah.
Because you don't need that long-term commitment. If your thing is local, and you can get the commitments, you could do league style. Palisades has a great league style, but they still need pretty firm commitments early on, and it's taken a lot of years for them to build that player base. Same thing with our Fast Pitch League when we ran it every year. It comes in waves. It's based off that player base. If they're not committed to it, they're going to say, I don't need to play.
Yeah.
But that's why the hardcores are playing in Palisades. And casual guys can play in any tournament that they want to go to on their schedule.
As a player, you said, you're a player first. I respect that. That's my approach, always has been, always will be. I'm a player first. Everything I do is so that I can have a great experience playing the game. But you as a player, you're pretty good. You're right up there with the best of them. Your team ventured down to Frisco this past October, made a really good run, actually faced you guys 2 times, and I saw something happen in our first matchup that I have never seen happen prior and probably won't ever see it happen again. You must have hit 55 home runs off of Joel DeRoche. So how many did you actually hit? And one of those was just a moonshot. I mean, it went over a scoreboard and just kept right on going. And I kind of looked around to see if anybody was watching. For Joel's sake, I was hoping nobody was watching. But that was quite a shot. So, man, I want you to talk a little bit about that. Like, do you remember what pitch he threw when you hit that shot, and how many home runs did you actually hit?
Well, I'm glad we're on radio, so you can't see how red my face is right now. So I'm thankful for the kind words. Those were probably my only 3 home runs of the entire tournament. I did hit 3 off Joel and none off anyone else, which is just amazing to me. And the one homer that you're talking about, I agree. I mean, thankfully it was on video, so I could watch it on loop whenever I want. But it's one of the more impressive home runs I've ever hit for sure. We played. That game was actually game 4 of round robin. Game 3, we played Cloud 9 and beat them on that field because you could not get the ball to the fence. In that entire game, no one hit the ball to the fence. And then I hit a homer over that scoreboard, and I was just shocked. I could not believe that anyone could hit the ball over the fence, let alone over the scoreboard. So I got to say I'm pretty impressed with myself by that. But, you guys got the last laugh. That I can hit all the homers in the world. If we lose, it doesn't really matter. We beat you in that game, but you beat us in, the final 8 it was?
Yeah, something like that. But it just seemed to me like when you hit that ball, you knew what the pitch was, what was coming, and that you had done it 100 times before. I mean, it was just like no big deal. I just could not believe. I still can't believe it. The home runs that I've always witnessed being hit off of Joel, guys like the Vegas Whifflers, Ewald, Derek Anderson, some of the Abros guys, they would always be almost like line drive home runs. Tog hit one off of him in 09 in the NCT. Always line drives, just getting over the fence. I've never seen a bomb hit like that one. So, Joel, if you're listening, I'm sorry I had to bring this up, but it was one hell of a shot.
That's right. You guys were a pleasure to play anyway, and however the games ended up, so be it. But we had a great time down in Texas overall. But playing you guys was great, and I did get to meet you a few years ago up in Massachusetts when you played, and got to actually pitch against you. So fortunately, I didn't get to pitch you in Texas, but maybe this year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. I couldn't figure you out up in Mass that year. You change ups, and I just had no clue. So
you calm down there.
So you guys played as a 3-man team. Why is that? Why didn't you bring a fourth? And do you think that by not having a fourth, you think it hurt you guys? And do you plan to change that?
I don't think it hurt us. I think the reason for going as a 3 was because all 3 of us were able to pitch, and it was only a one-day tournament, so we were looking at a max of 7-8 games where we felt we could certainly handle as a pitching staff. So since we didn't really have a one-way player that, say, couldn't pitch, we really felt there was no real reason to extend the lineup and we could get more at-bats, and there was only 3 of us in the field anyway. We're athletic enough to all play the field, so I didn't think it hurt us at all. I think it was just simple execution in the playoff game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just thought that'd be a great question, because if you got 3,
I agree.
If you got 3 strong arms and everybody can hit, you're doing yourself a huge favor by not having a fourth on the team. So, just my take.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you guys are an awesome team. Are you planning maybe to add anybody this year? Are you planning to make it back down this year? And if so, is it the same team?
I'm definitely looking to come. I believe if I were to come, my first choice would be with them. Luckily, I'm playing with Dave Wegerson in Palisades now. And actually, when you saw him in Texas, that was the first time he had thrown in about 5 years. He maybe had a couple weeks of prep before that, really threw a little bit here and there up in Connecticut before we went down, but had not seen any game action in 5 years. A full season of Palisades and then going down to Texas, I think he would really be a really impressive. That would be addition by keeping it the same.
Yeah.
Just because he'll be really sharpened up and ready to go. So if we can, we'll be bringing the same team down.
Yeah, that'd be great. Hopefully, if my team is there, which should be, we'll have another matchup.
There you go.
Anything from Texas that you saw where you were there that you said, this is great? Anything you took away from that is that you hadn't seen before?
Yeah, I mean, Tim was awesome. Tim Dean ran kept it organized, because you as a player, it's difficult to do it all. I know that very well. To do them both. You want, like you said, you want everyone to have a great time, and you want to have a great time. But at the end of the day, that comes with some responsibility on your part. So to have another person that isn't playing, that can keep everything organized, keep the games flowing, I mean, that's just, especially for a one-day tournament where everyone is traveling, it's imperative that we just get done and can enjoy ourselves and really enjoy that tournament. And I thought that was the biggest takeaway is, myself, but my own fault. I've run sloppy tournaments because you're playing sometimes, and it is difficult to do it all. So I'm thankful for that, and I expect after the same this year as well from you guys.
Yeah, well, appreciate that. And Tim Dean is the man. Honestly, I could not think of a guy that could do a better job for us, for the capturing the atmosphere, preserving that fast plastic NCT reputation, and just demanding the respect that he gets. He's just an awesome guy. So he will be back this year. Rob, good to have you on, man. Anything else you have going on this year?
No, we're doing our medium pitch league up in on Long Island. That we had our opening day a few weeks ago with 18 teams, and we play again next week, and a few more events throughout the year. I'm playing in Palisades as well when I can get up there with Kevin Norris, Dave Wegerson, and Chris Morse. So we're looking to do some damage up there, and I set aside time to play wiffle. It's what I really love to do. So as long as I can, I'm going to continue to, spend my time doing that in the summer.
Yeah, that's good.
You mentioned kids and wives ruin careers, because that's pretty much true.
Yeah.
That's why I'm single.
Yeah, it does. It does. I was probably one of the more fortunate guys over the years, but I could put up a list 10 pages long of all the guys that I've known over the years that just cashed them in because of it, So
yeah, there's a few good ones out there. I'm not gonna overgeneralize, but there's been more the other way than the good way.
Yeah, definitely true. Well, thanks a lot for coming on again, and maybe I'll have you back on later in the season. See what's happening over there with you guys, and good luck in Palisades, and don't wear yourself out, man. Keep that arm strong for October.
I'll do what I can, but there's no promises.
All right.
I appreciate you guys having me on, and I look forward to the rest of the show.
Yeah, our pleasure. Rob Longeveaux.
Toast should be a real treat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Any messages for him from you?
I don't know. He sent me a Snapchat today of him, running over a bird. I wasn't really, I work with birds, so I wasn't really a fan of that one. But, he's Southern living, so I'll give him a pass.
Uh-oh. So tell me about that. You work with birds. What do you do?
I work for my local township as a biologist, so I do a lot of shorebird conservation, land management, that kind of stuff. So I do really enjoy that, but it can be a pain in the ass.
Well, real quick fact here. Back when I was in L.A., one of my good buddies I played with out there in the league, he played in my league, played all the USPPBA and Fast Plastic. Chuck Valley, a lot of guys remember his name. For 2-3 years we're playing, and one day out of the blue we're sitting in a pizza joint after playing one day, and he says, "Yeah, I'm a marine biologist. I know all the great places to go fishing off the coast of California." I'm like, "Dude, why didn't you tell me this 3 years ago, Chuck?" So you never know who's playing wiffle ball next to you. So
that's also what's great about the game. There's so many people that I probably would never be friends with if it wasn't for wiffle ball.
Yeah.
For better or worse. And you know what? Everyone gets along at the field at the end of the day. It's an amazing concept. If more people could get along by coming together, the world would be definitely a better place.
Yes, very well said. All right, Rob, have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Rob.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Another great call here on the Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So we're a little ahead of schedule. That's a first for Fast Plastic Radio. Yeah.
And I thought we were going to be behind schedule.
No, we're a little bit ahead. So if you're just tuning in, we just want to remind you that May 23rd will be our next show, because the show that's scheduled for May 16th is actually a station holiday here. So we will not have a show on May the 16th, but the 23rd we'll be back with, of course, the bigger and better and greater show, as always, right here on the FPRN.
So what are you planning to do for the holiday, the day off, or whatever it is?
Well, I'm probably going to be in the studio working, making new commercials. We've got several commercials that need to be made, like the one for King's Racing Stables in Texas. And then I think we're going to put together one for a couple of podcasts out there, the Wiffle Ball podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm actually planning a trip.
A trip?
Yeah.
Well, I'll see you next fall.
Yeah. No, actually I am. I'm planning to go. I've got my plane ticket purchased going to LA.
Really?
And then I'm catching a boat. I'm headed down to Hawaii.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Do you know why? You want to know why?
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah.
Well, I figured I would cash in on all the new lava flow down there.
Right.
get that pumice, that.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to buy big blocks of it. It floats,
Right.
And I'm going to float it back with me, get it back here to the Midwest, and I'm going to cut it up into squares, and I'm going to sell it to wiffle ball players for scuff pads.
Scuff pads.
You just.
Now, you realize you're taking away from one of our show sponsors, Burls.
I know.
He's probably going to get upset about that.
I've been thinking about that, but maybe I can sell those scuff pads or lava cakes.
Lava cakes. That's a good one.
To Burl.
Yeah.
And maybe he can incorporate those into his chainsaw shop somehow.
That's very possible. Very possible.
Never know.
So speaking of Burl, we're going to take a quick break here on Fast Plastic Radio Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to have, looks like Gary Lavoie. And I don't know if I got that one right or not, but stick around. We'll be back here shortly.
Fast Plastic Radio Network. It's about the game.
Camacho's Kazoos. Call Camacho's today and learn the kazoo. 1-800-2-KAZOO. Immediate medical transport. Lost a finger? Need stitches? Get to the emergency room fast. Now serving 32 states. Don't let bad ball prepping disasters ruin your game. Use Immediate Medical today.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Fast Plastic Radio Network.
And we're back with the Fast Plastic Radio Network here on 93.5 The Rock, the home of FPRN.
So what do you think of that Leroy Wiffle?
Well, watching that, I was watching them live on Facebook, and after watching Palisades and Maw and all them guys play online, those guys need to learn to pitch. I mean, every time the pitcher on the game we were watching was throwing the ball in and trying to throw fast, it still looked like it was slow motion and he wasn't hitting the strike zone. Then he would have to throw one overhand, just regular, like lob it in. And every time he do that, the guy would hit it out of the park, home run.
So would you say that it's a tough watch? Hard to watch? It's
boring to watch, yeah. I mean, I don't know if these guys are just starting up and getting into the game. I don't want to discourage them. Keep practicing, keep working on it. But, maybe you need to get online and check out some actual real wiffle ball games. I don't know. If I'm saying that wrong, am I being too crucial?
No, I actually am asking because you're an outsider, basically, to the sport.
Right.
And being a professional rock thrower, you have a different view of things. So it's good to hear that. So I was curious what you thought about it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And, like I said, I'm not trying to be too detrimental of the guys because they're playing the game. They're doing it. But it's not like any of the other videos or live games that I've seen personally.
Yeah.
So to me, it looks like I don't know how long they've been playing, but it looks like it's a startup. They've just gotten into it. They haven't really learned the true fundamentals of the game. So that's my 2 cents anyhow.
Maybe they have a few guys in that league that are really good, and looking to get out and try something.
Absolutely.
You never know. There could be.
Yeah. So,
I want to go over the...
while you're doing that, I'm going to get our next caller on the line.
Okay. Very good. Man, I'm going to go over the lineup again. May 23rd show. Texas Tim Dean, Babs, Kevin Babler. Texas Tim, of course, coming in from Austin. Babs coming in from Chico, California. Sylvie Serrano. Sylvie started out playing on a team called the Oakland Mariners way back in the day in NorCal. So I believe he's still up there, NorCal, Bay Area somewhere, Oakland. Have him on, talk about a lot of his playing days. And then Jared Lamp, Moonshot Bats, somewhere way out west in the mountains. He may be in Idaho. I'm not sure. Got to talk to him and find out. But going to talk about how Moonshot Bats came about. That's going to be exciting.
Moonshot Bats, huh?
Moonshot Bats.
Interesting.
I used to have, I think, the very first Moonshot bat that ever.
I think I remember seeing that.
Now, Jared had the very first
Well,
one.
I'm talking about the one you had. I think
But
I remember.
I had like the very first Moonshot bat that ever went out on the quote unquote pro circuit.
Gotcha.
And you know what happened to it?
What happened to it?
You ever heard of the U.S. Postal Service?
Yeah.
Cliff Clavin and all those guys?
Yeah.
They lost it.
That don't surprise me because if you remember last week, I was reading about the Postal Service and the guy, I think he was in Chicago. He'd stuffed 17,000 pieces of mail in his car, in his locker, and everything like that because he was just overwhelmed delivering it. So I don't know.
All right.
So anyhow, we've got our next guest on the line. I guess on the line would be the correct term I want to use. Gary Lavoie is here with us. How are you doing, Gary?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing great.
Welcome to the Fast Plastic Radio Network.
Hey, Gary.
All right.
Hey, man.
What's happening, Billy?
Great.
Nice hearing from you.
Yeah, great to have you on, man. We were just talking about Moonshot Bats, and I seem to recall you took home a Moonshot Bat a few years back.
Ooh, 2008. That was a coveted one.
Yeah, tell us about that.
About the Moonshot?
Yeah, why did you get that bat?
Oh, that was a beautiful bat. I still have it too. It's not in use. It's up on the shelf in the garage. But I got that because you awarded me the best hitter of that 2008 NCT, and it was because boy, I hit a handful of home runs that tournament. I don't know. Don's would probably tell me that he hit more, but he seems to he adds like 3. It's like you know how when girls tell you that if they how many guys they've slept with, you're supposed to do the multiply it by 3 thing. Don uses the same rule for his home runs.
Oh yeah.
If he hits 3, if he hits 3, it comes out as 9 2 years later.
Yeah, I believe it. Those home runs you hit, man, they were nasty. That's some filthy shots. I remember a lot of them too. Well, actually, a couple of them were captured by Brett's documentary, right? Some classics.
Yeah, you know what? I got lucky that year between your tournament over there and then the Golden Stick thing. Like I ended up on tape a bunch.
Yeah, cool. So right out of the gate, I've always wondered this. You have the nickname Swiffler. Why is that? How did that come about?
So before I do that, last time we talked, the Celtics were on. It's happening again right now, Billy. So it's game 5. I didn't realize it 2 weeks ago, crying out loud. So I've got my significant other's inside right now, and I know she's already changed it to call the midwife or something like that. So I'm missing this game right now.
Oh, kudos.
I'm not entirely happy about it.
Yeah, well, I'll have to make that up to you somehow, man, some way.
Nice. So the nickname thing, it's not really that exciting of a story, but the guy that I started playing with, and this goes back to 97, maybe 98, and I think the first actual tournament I ever played in was when Palanzar used to do his indoor events in New York, in the Dome. I forget what town it was, but me and a buddy that I went to high school with traveled down there, and that was as a result of us just playing in the driveway in the garage. We used to wrap the ball with electrical tape around the equator, right? You'd make it last a little bit longer and help it move. And he was sort of a comedian. Like he would name all of his pitches, and one of the pitches, or name my pitches too. So like he had like the knee buckler, right? Which is when he threw some of the sick drop that he tried to strike me out with. And I used to throw that big sweeping slider, and he called that the Swiffler. And those names ended up on the back of our jerseys, I think. So I think I still have there's probably a couple of jerseys out there somewhere with knee buckler and Swiffler on the back of it, and I just kept it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
I figured if I'm gonna be a Hall of Fame wiffle ball player someday, I better have a sweet nickname.
Yeah, that's awesome. So one thing, I don't know if you know, well, I know a lot of guys don't know this, but I kind of developed or co-invented a fast plastic fantasy game, and I ran tests on it last summer. And anyway, in that, I've got you as you would probably be number 3. You're definitely top 5 best hitters ever that I've ever seen play. And
that's flattering.
Yeah, pretty impressive, man, some of the things I've seen you do. So anyway, you played in that league. You were actually, I drafted you on one of my teams. So
nice.
It's pretty cool. So one of the shows coming up later, I'm going to tell guys about that and see if anybody's interested in doing that. But it's a lot of fun. So
nice. Very cool, and I'm flattered. There've been a ton of great hitters out there. Great hitters that I've seen. So just to be considered up there is pretty flattering for me.
The first time I saw you play, I don't remember the year. You're going to have to help me out here, but I definitely remember you walking up to the batter's box. You had a beer in hand. You set it down. You went ahead and took the at bat. And I remember looking at you. I think maybe Bruce was standing near me. It was a night game. Things were winding down. You guys were playing like one of the last games. I looked over at Bruce. I said, "Who is this guy?"
What's his deal?
Yeah, I don't remember the team. Maybe it was a 603 All-Stars first appearance. So anyway, do you remember that? What year would that have been?
I think it was 2005, and it was 2004 or 5, and it was not our first appearance, but that was when Hickey and I jumped on and played with the Dana brothers that year. And I remember who we were playing. It was Golden State. I don't know if that was the name at the time, but Rob Brunner was on the mound. And that was an elimination game Saturday night, and like we had it set up. John hadn't pitched more than a couple of innings. Like we 10-run ruled whoever we had played in the round before that. And maybe it was like the end of the round robin before that. I think that was the Sweet 16 game that Saturday night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took a beer up to the plate. I knew I was going to take pitch 1, and I still argue. I remember Billy, we used to have those strike zones that our zones have evolved. Those strike zones used to have the legs that were awfully close to the actual zone itself, right?
Right.
And I still argue. I had a ball in there that was called a strike. If Brunner's listening to this, you son of a gun. I should have had a hitter's count going into the last half of that at bat, but I'll give it to him.
Yeah, that was a battle. That was a good game, but
I think Brunner was on the mound. Hickey was throwing smoke. Rob pitched phenomenal. I think they beat us 1-0. I think Joel hit an opposite way home run off of Hickey.
Wow.
That one hurt too because we were set up pretty nice.
So was that your first appearance in Texas?
No, the year before, John, myself, my buddy of mine, Dylan, and my cousin Ethan came out, and there's no way we were ranked even in the top. I don't know how many teams are at that event, but we were in certainly the bottom half. I doubt we would have been considered top 20 going into that tournament. And I think we finished 8th. We made it to Sunday. I think it was the Mud Ducks we lost to on that Sunday, and that was John really just finally getting a feel for competitive wiffle ball and like just gaining some momentum. We kind of carried that through the tournament, and we ended up fairly decent by the end of it.
You think the guys up in New England, Boston, New York, do they know who Hickey is? Does he still have a reputation up there?
Yeah, I do think so. Primarily because of Golden Stick. Like those videos are still around. The guys are pretty savvy with the technology stuff. They watch all these videos. If I still watch him, they watch him. So they know who he is. They know that he threw pretty hard back in the day.
Yeah, I remember.
And he did throw pretty damn hard.
Yeah, the first year he came up to the bigs, so to speak. You know, the FP message board, that's everybody was on there, and somehow it came out, oh man, you got to see this kid. And I could be wrong, but I think he may have played in New York the first time, or maybe that was the first tournament I remember hearing about him. And,
right.
But it was, guys were saying, oh yeah, this guy's, nobody's ever going to beat him. You know, he was just that good.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I remember the first tournament we won was NCQ down in Bruce's area, down there in Connecticut, and I remember we beat Nick T's time at Nick T's team And John had just learned to throw a drop, right? So he was just relying. He was throwing risers, just riser, top of the zone, miss high, get guys to chase, just throwing it as hard as he could. And like going into that tournament, he figured out the drop, and I knew it too, you know. And I kind of knew going in, like, all right, if he gets this and starts feeling confident with it, guys are going to be in trouble because I can barely see the ball, right?
Yeah.
Like I was one of the better hitters then, but I knew what the other pitchers had, and I could barely see it. So I said to myself, this could be good, and yeah, that was sort of the moment where it was like, all right, he's got some good stuff. He could be one of the better guys around.
Yeah, he definitely was.
He could touch the strike zone.
Yeah, he was
from the mound.
I know. By the time he released the ball, he was at 32 feet or something like that. It's just
right. Yeah.
So you used to run a region for Fast Plastic, right? Out of where? New Hampshire or some Vermont, somewhere like that.
Yeah, it was definitely New Hampshire, Manchester area. I think I don't know if we ever ran any tournaments in the Concord area, but it was southern New Hampshire, and we used to get some of the Mass guys to come up. 8 to 10 teams, and that was a blast. I mean, that was we had so many teams in New England at the time, comparatively to other regions in the country, right? And that was back when we were only sending the top 2 finishers from each of the regions to nationals. So and there's so much competitive wiffle ball up here. I think it was just as much a strategic decision as it was, you know, having time or desire to run a tournament, run tournaments. It was like, well, New England has enough teams to compete down there. We need to set up something. We need to set up 2 different regions and make sure we had enough teams qualified for nationals.
Yeah, that was huge. That was a big decision we made, and it worked out for the best. But yeah, one time, guys, New England had 2 regions for Fast Plastic. Just unbelievable.
Yep.
So 603 All-Stars. I've heard this story once a long time ago. But I don't remember all the details. How did 603 All-Stars name come about? What's that all about?
I'm not sure if that's all that exciting either. Like, that was just, we were trying to be cool. 603 is the area code up here. So we were trying to think of a name that we thought fit and was representative of the guys that we had on the team at the start of this thing. And it was just me, my cousin, and a buddy of mine. My cousin and I, 16 years old, we were driving down to Palanzar's summer showdown and his wiffle fest in the fall. We'd tell our parents that, like, I'm sleeping over at his house and he's sleeping over at mine, and do that thing, and we'd hop in the car and drive to New Jersey. I got a 14-year-old daughter right now. I can't imagine 2 years from now her doing something like that.
So you were 16, 17 years old?
Yep, I think so. That's
wow.
That was the first couple of tournaments.
Nice.
So that puts me back to late 90s.
Yeah. Wow. That's
late 90s.
That's huge. I wonder.
Yeah. So I've had an opportunity to still being involved and still, we haven't played a bunch lately, but we've been competitive recently. So I've been blessed to see the game evolve over a long period of time.
Yeah, you've been around, man. You kind of know what it takes to get to another level, and kind of want to talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But curious, what's the current 603 All-Stars team?
Yeah, we're pumped. We're pumped to have Mr. Road Toast jump on with us this year. So we still got the 3-man core of myself and Patrick and Mr. Dons. And Toast is going to be joining us as a 4th. So I think, it already feels, just in the nature of us kind of talking, communicating this early this spring, and talking about where we might be able to get together and play, and just trying to stay connected on a regular basis. We have a good dynamic going for this team, and we're all excited about playing again. I think when we heard that you were running these tournaments and just the simplicity of it too, with our lives, the nature of our lives and growing up and families and all that stuff, the ability to come in and to play in an open style championship again was attractive to all of us. So when we saw what was happening last year, it was kind of an immediate commitment from the 3 of us. Like, we're going to go back and we're going to get this done. We all very much desire another one.
Yeah, I bet. Once you get that in your blood, it's hard to walk away from it. Definitely.
That's right. We have too many second place finishes. Finally, we had a stretch there, a long stretch.
You know, my playing career, going back back to the 90s, I've never played against you or the 603 All-Stars.
Oh, boy.
So maybe this
You
is
gonna
the
put a team
year.
in?
GSW.
Yeah.
You ever heard of them?
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well, I hope so. I'll pitch if you do.
I may take you up on that. I have seen you pitching, and I may take you up on that. I don't mean that
Lady,
as a.
Lady tells me I'm the best batting practice pitcher you've ever seen.
Oh, really?
So if it's batting practice and it doesn't count, I'll go up. I'll throw peas.
Yeah.
As soon as the game's on the line, I'm going to walk the first 6 batters.
Okay, so there's a lot of guys that have been whining or crying, whatever you want to call it, for about the last month, off and on, about super teams. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Definition of a super team, I think you and I could both probably say we understand what it means. What do you say to those guys?
I actually think it's a good dialogue to have. It's a good dialogue in that, we're all trying to grow the game and we want to see the game grow. So we're all coming from the right place in regard to that talk. And I think that there is a way to accomplish both. I think when you're talking about medium pitch formats or slow pitch formats and wanting to create parity or league play and wanting to create parity through league play to create a rating structure that, or a draft that helps facilitate some of that parity. I don't mind it. I was part of the creation process for what we did in Golden Stick back when we were rating players and creating parity. I didn't love it. I didn't love the gameplay once we got into it because I missed the hyper competitive atmosphere that Fast Plastic provided. Like, that's what got my juices flowing, is that night game against Rob Brunner and teams around me that I believed were better than at the time. Right. And the competitive spirit in me kicking up, like, shit, I need to get better. I have to get better in order to beat these guys. Right. I don't need better teammates. I have to get better. Like, period. I got to figure out a way to get this done and create confidence in myself in order to do that. So I think there are ways and there are formats and there's opportunities in the game of wiffle ball to do both of those things. I appreciate Fast Plastic providing the avenue to create a format, or I appreciate Fast Plastic creating a format that provides that hyper competitive atmosphere where the best players can play against the best players. And there's gonna be some contraction. I think that probably happens more regularly at a regional level. Like, if you were to go back into the NCQ format, people had to qualify in order to get into this tournament, and you're restricting to one qualified team per every whatever area that region or area that we're talking about. Like, yeah, you're going to be battling some contraction with guys that are hooking up and playing with each other. But at a national level and a national championship, that being an open tournament is just it's attractive to me. Like, so it's a preference.
Yeah, I like that.
I want to see former major league talent get together and line up against my 603 All-Stars. Like, let's go. Yeah. That's what I want to see happen. That's what I want to see happen at that level. I want to see guys that have never played wiffle ball before, but probably have talent that trumps mine times 5 line up against the line, and I want to see them hit bombs, and I want to throw pitch one and find out who comes out on top at the end. And that's in my nature.
Right. Yeah, I like that. I think for the most part, everybody that plays at this level, you're speaking for everybody, I guess what I'm trying to say. I don't want to go out there and face some guy that can't throw. I want your very best. And if I can somehow knock you out of the tournament, I've accomplished something. If you're playing your best, that means something. So, all right. So,
yeah, and I'll even backtrack before we move on, Billy. I'll even backtrack. Like, 603, we weren't always a super team. I used to go to tournaments with my cousin and my buddy that I went to high school with, and Hickey, who was the best friend of my brother, who's 4 years younger than me, but we grew up together. I've known him since he was 10 years old, right? And eventually, these other guys that just didn't share the same passion for the game that I had and wanting to compete, like they just fell off. They didn't want to commit to like the tournaments that we were going to regularly, and what was left was Hickey and I, right? So when Hickey and I are left and we need teammates to play with, what we want to find are guys that are as competitive as we are and are as committed to showing up and competing like we are. So when a Golden Stick Blue team that was together in 2007 disbands, and Pat Leahy and I played in Golden Stick and we got along with each other, he's an exceptional competitor, and he calls me and he says, well, we need to do this Fast Plastic, right? It's a natural progression from my perspective too.
Yeah.
Our friends aren't always gonna, they're not gonna fall in love with the game like we do.
Right. We have the exact same approach on GSW. It's just exact same philosophy. And we go out every game. We play our very best every game. You're never going to have a letdown. That's one thing. Some guys I don't see doing that. They're trying to save somebody, not us. It's just balls out right from the get-go.
Right.
But, all right. So I had
we're going to talk some strategy.
Yeah. Speaking of GSW, I had Ryan DeRoche on a few shows back, and we were talking about hitting, and I mentioned how nobody ever does a hitting video. You can sit and watch 100 guys showing you how to pitch. Nobody ever explains hitting. If there ever was to be one, you should be the guy to spearhead that. Tell me, what is your approach? How did you become such a great hitter? What do you look for?
So I wish I put more thought into this, and I would actually love to do that. That'd be a neat thing to accomplish. Or maybe I'll talk to Sean at some point. Maybe you can help me coordinate that. But the wiffle ball swing is different than a baseball swing, right? Baseball swing, you're staying back and swinging with your body. Like you're using bigger muscles than what you do in a wiffle ball bat. In other words, I can accomplish a swing with a wiffle ball bat using smaller muscles like my wrists, right? If you're going through a hitting coach in baseball, right? They're not teaching you to flip your wrists to get a ball over the wall, but in wiffle ball you can accomplish it. And the ball is coming from so many different angles that you have to have the ability to be agile, to be able to get to different balls coming from different angles. And so I think agility and your ability to make quick decisions and manipulate your swing is extremely important to being an exceptional hitter. What I'm going to do to get after a drop ball and match the angle that the ball is coming in at is different than how I'm going to swing in a low inside slider when I'm going to rip my hands through and hit like I'm hitting a slice driver, right? In a golf swing. So understanding those things and practicing those things is probably step number one. And then I think where I have an advantage too is I like to strategize a bit when I'm up at the plate. I play a mind game with the pitcher. I attempt to do so, and even if I'm not really, even if I'm not in this pitcher's head, like sometimes it just feels like I'm putting myself at an advantage if I believe that I'm at an advantage. And I'll give you an example of that. I don't know if Danny Haverty's listening to this show, but the year before last, we went and played at the Golden Stick tournament, and I knew going into that he had Tom DeVoe that jumped on his team, and I knew going into that I've probably been known as an inside slider hitter, right? Like you want to keep away from the inner half of the plate. You don't want to throw sliders in the inner half because I'm gonna pull those balls out of the park, right? So the first pitch he threw me, inside slider, and I swung at it, right? I swung at that thing like you wouldn't believe, right? I put extra effort into making a home run swing at that ball.
Yeah.
But my intent was only to tell him that was the pitch that I wanted, because his drop was so much more hittable. So as soon as I swung at that pitch, Tom DeVoe walked over to the mound and says, "Danny," I heard him say it. I could hear him say it from the batter's box. He says, "Danny, you can't throw him sliders," right? And I'm sitting there going, "Thank goodness," because I can't even see his slider. He's throwing it so fast. Like the only thing I can hit is the drop. So perfect, absolutely. And I got drops the rest of the game and went. I think I went like 4 for 5 or 5 for 6, something like that. And we went on to win that game. So I try to take a strategic approach into those at bats, and I try to turn someone's best pitch into their weakness, right? Or I try to get them away from what they believe or what is their best pitch by manipulating what's happening in that interaction between the hitter and the pitcher.
That's incredible. I mean, right there.
I couldn't hit a slider. It was too fast. Throwing cheese. It was like downwind. I couldn't even see the thing.
Yeah, usually a slider is very hittable, most guys, but I've never really heard anybody ever say they couldn't hit the slider. So that
It was fast.
wow, that means something coming from you.
Yeah.
All right, all the trophies you got hanging on your wall and on your shelves.
I'm in the garage. I'm looking at a bunch of them.
Which one stands the highest? Which one's your proudest? Which one shines the brightest?
Yeah, there's no question about it. Yours and the 2008 tournament was fantastic because I thought that was one of the most competitive tournaments, top to bottom, that you've ever put on. Like 2009 was phenomenal. 2000, a couple years before that as well, like have great competition. But I thought 2008, like you could kind of see the merger of the late 90s and early 2000s and those teams that were still around, plus some of these new guys that were coming in the Golden Stick era and what was happening here, and just there was an accumulation of talent that happened in 2008, and it took a whole lot of effort to win that tournament. We played so well, and we had some bounces go our way too, but that team just being there for each other and everyone understanding their roles, everyone putting in 100%. Like there's no question about it. That's the best one. Not too far behind that, though. 2009 coming back and attempting to repeat, and we didn't have the same team. Hickey was gone. We picked up Russ Heim.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I wasn't even supposed to go to that tournament, but I ended up showing up last second, and we went like 1-3 or 2-2 in the round robin, and we like barely squeaked into a play in that was against Whiffink at the time, and we had to run the table in order to get to the finals. It took us going like 6-0 in the rain, and we didn't have any arms left either. And that tournament was a battle of attrition, and I was pretty proud of the guys for that. So we have a second place trophy in 2009 that I thought was almost as daunting as what it took to win the one in 2008.
Yeah, that was a nasty tournament in 2009.
Yeah, nobody had anything left at the end except for Josh.
Yeah,
except for Josh, who just found it.
Yeah, I can tell you that whenever I go back and watch some of those old videos that were made, like Brett's yard work, and all the tournaments were all documented somehow, some way. But even though my team lost in 2008, I can watch that 603 championship run that's documented, and I get a huge smile on my face every time, man. I do, because like you said, that tournament was incredible. You guys were great champions. You know, your emotion. It was just a tournament director could not ask for anything better than having the 603 All-Stars as your champion.
We were elated, and like this is a little known secret, Billy. Like we still go into tournaments. Don's and I we probably both have low self-esteem. Like if we were going to get diagnosed, we go into tournaments like we as underdogs. We still do to this day, which I probably is not the perception of everyone else, but it is our own. We go into the tournaments and we look around and we're like, we're dead. Yep, we're dead. Let's just start break out the Bud Lights. Let's start drinking.
Yeah.
And we just build momentum, right? That carries us forward through the finals. And maybe it helps us. Maybe it's our way of coping with whatever stress that might be going into the tournament. But we've always felt like we were underdogs, and in that particular year, even though we had a good team, we were elated. The work that went into that, it was pretty special.
Yeah, well, it was very special. I just anybody who's never watched that yard work, Brett Bevilacqua's work, just an unbelievable documentary about the sport. You won't find anything better at all. Check that out. It's out there on YouTube. Gary, man, thanks for coming on the show tonight. I've always wanted to have a discussion with you, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm pumped to get back. We're coming.
All right, I think everybody's.
We got wives that are coming with us now. We're gonna have a little bit of an entourage.
Yeah, well,
hopefully we can show up for Mr. Wood down there in Georgia and get some home runs for him.
So you heard the payout, right? You heard?
I did. I did hear the payout. All of a sudden, Leahy's answering our text messages because you announced the payout. So thank you for that. He's all of a sudden fired up.
Good. That's good. We need Pat back in it. So, all right.
Yeah, darn right we do. We miss him too.
Yeah. Well, have a great night, Gary. Get back to your Celtics game. Hopefully they can have a reemergence there, win something.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Take it easy.
All right, thanks, Billy. Thanks, JB.
Have a good night, Gary.
See ya.
See ya.
I was trying to bash the Celtics there. I didn't do a very good job.
No, you didn't. Not really. No.
I was like, couldn't even get it out. I'm not much of a Celtics fan. I like the old Celtics from back in the day, but not so much.
Not the current team.
Nah.
Okay.
So, what's going on over there? Anything? Any news?
No, not any news really, but we're a little bit almost behind schedule now. But you know what? We're doing okay. We're going to take a quick, brief station identification moment, and we'll be right back here on the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Don't go anywhere.
Fast Plastic Radio Network. It's about the game. WROC 93.5 The Rock. Broadcasting from a van down by the river.
Burl's Chainsaw Shop. Tired of your mama's steak knives? Use a chainsaw by Burl for all your ball stuffing needs. It's faster. Camacho's Kazoos. Call Camacho's today and learn the kazoo. 1-800-2-KAZOO. Immediate medical transport. Lost a finger? Need stitches? Get to the emergency room fast. Now serving 32 states. Don't let bad ball prepping disasters ruin your game. Use immediate medical today.
You're listening to the Fast Plastic Radio Network. Fast Plastic Radio Network.
All right, we are back live. Fast Plastic Radio Network coming to you live. Time's flying by tonight, man. I had about 20, 30 more questions I could have asked Gary. Maybe another time. I wanted to, again, stress to everybody that plans to make it to the Frisco, Texas Open NCT this year. Make sure you read that rule book. Look at the bat rule. It will be enforced. So
the bat rule will be enforced?
It will be enforced.
Okay.
Can't stress it enough, guys. Let's see, what else have I got to bring up here? WiffleBallTournaments.com. Get out there on that website. See what's happening around the country. Get involved. Do something. Let's see. Any other pertinent issues for break here? I don't see anything, JB.
Just a reminder, no Fast Plastic Radio Network next week, but we'll be back on the 23rd of May.
Yeah, go to the Fast Plastic website, fastplasticnct.com. It's got the tournament date and a little bit of information on there. It's got a message board where you can talk, ask questions.
And the most important thing, pre-register.
Yeah, so we're going to have a registration form up soon where you can get on there, get signed up, pay your entry fee. Early entry fee, $100, and it's just going to progressively increase as we go throughout the summer. And by the time we get to the end of August, it's probably going to be hovering near $250. Register early, guys. The cutoff definitely will be the first week of September. Anything after that, can't help you. And we're only taking 24 teams, and I can tell you right now, probably had close to 40 teams saying they're coming. So we'll see what happens. Just in Texas alone, we could get 10 teams for this. So if that gives you any clues to what's happening.
So check that board out often and get registered in advance because you don't want to miss out on your chance for that $10,000 purse.
Yeah, and once I do these press releases in all the major cities throughout Texas and the Midwest, it's gonna fill up quick.
All right, we've got our next guest on the line. I don't know if this guy needs an introduction or not. They say he's the man, the myth, the legend. He's known as Texas Toast, Road Toast, and most recently, Royd Toast. It's David Wood. Welcome to the Fast Plastic Radio Network, David.
What's going on, fellas?
What do you say, Dave? Good to have you on tonight. Thank you much.
Oh, yeah. It's a pleasure to be on. Love the show.
So are you coming to us from where? Savannah somewhere?
About an hour north of Savannah in Statesboro, Georgia.
Okay. College town, right?
Yep, college town, Georgia Southern Eagle.
Is that where you've lived your whole life? That's where you're originally from?
No, I am originally from Wrightsville, Georgia, small town. It's actually where Herschel Walker is from. Moved to Statesboro my 7th grade year and been here ever since.
Herschel Walker, didn't that guy, let's see, was he famous for what, hockey or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good joke, Billy. No, he's the number one Gator hitter.
Yeah, I lived a few years down there in Georgia, and people still this day think he's going to come back and win it all, but I don't think that's happening. But him and old Vince Dooley, right?
Yeah, those two are old Georgia legends, but I wouldn't count him out, man. He's still a rock solid human being. He's like 50 something, and he looks like a statue, so he could do it.
Well, the best thing about him is he's a former Dallas Cowboy.
Well, that's the part of his career I don't like to remember. But I mean, to each his own.
Yeah. Well, I guess everybody now has heard, it's confirmed that you are planning to be a member of the 603 All-Stars.
Yeah, I'm taking my talent to South Beach this year, playing with the fellas. I've known them for a really long time. I played with my original team, the Super Savvy Psychos from Georgia, stationed in Savannah. And our team and their teams always got along, kind of two brothers deal. We'd always play each other at tournaments, beat up on each other, usually them beating up on us. But, I mean, my first year I went out into Arizona and we played them my first game, and I think we beat them 10-9 or something like that. I don't know. But I didn't know what I had accomplished at the time,
Yeah.
because it was my first time on the scene. But apparently it was a big deal. But I didn't know who the guys were. I just knew that they were nutcases, and I liked playing against them. So we finally got back from this year's tournament, and it probably wasn't a month after, and I got a text, I think it was from Gary, asking if I was going to play this year and if I had a team. And I told him, like last year I played with a really good squad, me, Kenny, Robles, and Didio. But I mean, I can't pass this opportunity up. I've been wanting to play with them since I started in wiffle ball. So this kind of thing comes around, you kind of got to jump on it and ride the wave, and hopefully we can do something in Texas this year.
Yeah, I definitely think you guys will do something. I mean, you had a great team last year, so do you see 603 surpassing what you guys did last year? What was the name of the team you were on last year? Remind me.
With Inc.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we actually weren't that far away from the money last year.
Right.
We played Cloud9 in the semi. Steffi went over the game a little while back on your show, so I won't go through it. But tough pitching all day, and I mean, we've been getting the rolls all day. I mean, things going in our favor. Every game before that went 4-0. I mean, Bluetoothing teams, and then we went up against Cloud9, and I mean, first inning, I think we had an error, and they put a hit, or I think Ty got a hit and scored a run, so we're down early. Steffi came out there throwing his usual stuff, and that was actually my first time seeing him, and we've been talking about facing each other since I know I started playing, because I knew he was the best, kind of hitting on what Gary said earlier with the super teams and all. Like, if I want to prove that I'm one of the better players in the nation, I'm going to have to beat the better players in the nation. And I've always kind of seen Steffi as one of the better dudes, I mean, that's how I learned how to pitch wiffle balls, looking up like some of his earlier videos, and he was like 6'4", 95 pounds, throwing in his backyard, just teaching you how to grip it. So,
yeah, right.
Yeah, we I don't know. I mean, it's tit for tat. It's a 603 is a legendary team, and the team I had last year. I mean, we could go back this year and be in the same position. We lost 2-0, and I mean, if a few balls goes this way, that way, and Kenny hits a home run here and there, we're in that championship game. So, I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah. So, were you pitching that game, that elimination game? Did you pitch?
Yeah, I pitched against Steffi that time. We finally got to match up.
So, what would you do different? Anything? Looking back, if you could take something back or do something differently in that game, what? Or actually, let me ask you this: you're gonna face Cloud9 again in the championship game or in an elimination game. What do you do differently?
First off, I am gonna check the wind direction. That's first and foremost. One of my more primary pitches, I couldn't even throw that game, so I kind of had to make up a new drop ball on the run, I guess you could say. But a couple of them floated up there, and you can't do that with a lineup like they got. You got to throw your best stuff, no mistakes, and they took advantage of it. Ty came through with a clutch hit, and Packer came through twice with two very softly strucken balls that were hitting. I mean, he may have hit 190 and he may have hit 100, but one went out and one was a double. But kudos to Packer, the kick and hit. But if I had to change anything, the first would be, of course, the wind direction, and two, I mean, I kind of go into every game clean slate. That's my approach. It's me against the batter. I'm facing that inning, and who's going to come out on top? I'm going to try and fool you. You're going to try and hit me. So let's go at it.
How many innings do you have in your arm these days?
My first tournament in Arizona, I think I pitched 6 games because we had me, Jonathan Lehman, Sunshine, Troop Branson, Chris Mooch Moncrief, and Robbie O'Quiffle Quinn. And Sunshine got hurt like the first game, and it was just me and Troop left. And Troop throws maybe hard enough to, I wouldn't say break glass. I'm trying to think of something that's weaker than glass. I can't think of anything, but I mean, he's logged in a lot of time on his arm. So at that point, we had him on the team for hitting and moral support, and mostly to kind of look out for him because he's getting up there in age, making sure he doesn't die long. But yeah, it's I don't know.
So, all right, let me shift gears here. So, that was your first big tournament when you went to Arizona?
Yeah, that was my very first. I played a couple of tournaments in Georgia and Florida.
Yeah.
That season, and then they mentioned Arizona and they mentioned the cash prize, and I was like, "This is totally nuts," but I'll go. Let's do it, And I mean, I thought I was weird because I played competitive wiffle ball in Georgia, but people from up north and a couple people out west, I mean, with all these teams together, I mean, I felt normal finally. I thought I was the only weird one out there, but there's so many more people up north and out west that play than down here, and those guys they're top caliber. I don't have to tell you anything. You've seen a lot more people than me, but it's kind of like I wouldn't say culture. Well, I guess it is a culture shock just to be out there and around all the guys. But I think it really helped me going out there with the team I went with, because you definitely knew we were there when we were there. You know, you may have liked us, you may have disliked us, but we didn't care. We were going to have a good time either way around it. So I think most of the people loved it, and hopefully some of them still have their Savage shirts. Remember the old days.
So at one time, the state of Georgia had a very strong presence of competitive players, ranging from the Savannah area down there where you are up into Atlanta, and even going even further north up towards Dalton, Chattanooga. I mean, there were a lot of guys that were playing. Guy that was on the show a few weeks back, Mark DeMacy, ran a region in Atlanta, and guys would fly in from Florida and Boston, all over the place. And then I used to play in Troop when he ran the region in Savannah, a couple times. And so anyway, what happened? How did all that just dry up and blow away? Where are these guys today?
Well, I mean, I came along and started winning championships, Billy, to be honest. No, I'm kidding. A few guys still play. I know Trent Jones from one of the more known around teams down here, the Village Idiots. They've made a couple national appearances. They still play in National Wiffle Ball League. It's up in Tennessee. And I think last year was their first year having a league or something, if I'm not mistaken, and they won the national championship. But it was always me and him going head-to-head in the championship whenever I was playing. My first year, like you said, it kind of dried up after my second year. I used to play against Run Factory, the Sun Devils, with some kids from Florida on that team that actually run the Florida State Wiffle Ball League, Alex Unger and Jacob Bowles. And then, of course, Savvy, my team that I played with for forever, and another team that was, like you said, up by Tennessee in Rome, Georgia, the Muscadines, with a good buddy of mine, Corey Pitt. And, but yeah, we played down here for a solid probably 4 or 5 years, and then it all kind of went away, and then I had to go up north to play wiffle ball after that if I wanted to play, and I did that a couple of years, and then just traveling, it started taking a toll on me. I think for one New York tournament, I traveled for 18 hours and played for 6.
Yeah, those are tough. Those are tough times when you got to do stuff like that. There's a guy used to drive from Atlanta up the eastern seaboard to go play in Rhode Island with no sleep.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of. I know Mr. Edgar Packers made that trip a couple of times in a car, and we had the Open one year actually in Savannah, and a lot of guys drove down there too. So that's how you know we're maniacs there with the sport right there.
Yeah.
We're going to travel that far, especially by automobile, to play wiffle ball.
One of my questions that I have for you here, I'm interested in getting the younger guy's opinion. How old are you, Road Toast?
I am 27 now, going to be 28 in October. Actually, October the 7th is my birthday.
Uh-oh.
So I'm taking home a birthday championship, hopefully a bonus to take home today.
All right, so you heard it here first, guys. Anyway, so you're a younger guy. You got to pick 3 Georgia players from all eras of the sport. What 3 are you picking to take to a national championship tournament? If you're forced to only play with players within your state, who are the 3 players that you're going to pick up?
Okay.
Any era.
Toughie. I mean, first and foremost, my Savvy guys I would take all of them and break the rules and not take 3. I would just take all of them. That would be my first pick. But if I had to strictly go from that, a buddy of mine I owe a lot of my football credit to, Graydon Bozeman. He made a couple national tournaments with me. He went one just to spectate. But he loves the sport, man, and the next year he got to compete. But that was who I practiced against, throwing balls against brick walls. You know, I mean, day one, Whiffler right there. I would definitely bring him along, you know. And I'm not going based on talent at all. I'm going. I mean, if I go to the national championship, I want to go with a group of guys I know I'll have a good time with, and if we win, we win. That's the way I feel about it, and it helps if you're talented, you know. But I mean, I'm gonna go with a good group of guys, you know. Number 2 would be a name I mentioned earlier, probably Trent Jones. He had a lot of head-to-head battles, me and him, in these Southeastern region games, and he's a solid all-around player. I mean, he's one of the best in the nation. He needs to get out of the Texas thing, and hopefully I can get something started up with that in the future. Or maybe this year he can take his Village Idiots team out there. That would be a good spot to fill. And a late addition to Savvy, we had right before a year or two before he fell off, a good buddy of mine, Scott Bragg. He's a pitcher and a hitter too, and I actually played this week. I think I sent you a picture of me and him and our little homemade Kazon. Went out to the tennis courts in the park across from where we work and played a nice little 4 or 5 inning game. First time I thrown since Texas, so felt good to get back on the saddle.
Scott Bragg, that guy can't play. He doesn't have any hair.
He's got a little patch or two up top. But not much. Just enough to keep the rain out of his eyes.
Yeah. Well,
that would probably be my squad there.
Well, I guess you guys.
But I didn't, like I said, I was a kind of later on the scene.
Right.
Late. I think I actually played in a Fast Plastic tournament in Statesboro in 2008 with just an amateur thrown together team from high school.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it at the time, and that's where I met the guys from Savvy, and I saw true pitching, and I was like, these guys are serious about this, and it's pretty cool, and I kind of want to get on with them. So I messaged True to Facebook a long time ago, and we put that together.
Well, this year's NCT, the Texas Open, is another open tournament, meaning anybody can enter as long as you meet the deadline, and any team, whatever, 2 to 4 players, it's wide open. I was talking originally about having some sort of a qualifying criteria, but it's not going to happen this year. Next year, however, that's going to change. I'm already in the process of setting up a qualifying tour with designated tour stops across the country. Not a whole lot, not I'm not talking about 30 tournaments or anything like that, guys. Probably more along the lines of 10 to 15 max, strategically placed with strategic dates, meaning we're playing in January in Arizona and February, Florida, things like that. Anyway, if the tour stop comes to Georgia, first of all, where would you recommend that it be, and what do you think the turnout for that event would be? Also, what would be a good date for that?
Well, we definitely don't want to do it in the heart of summer because we will die.
Yeah.
It is terrible. But then again, come down, I'm used to it. That's cool. Just better drink a lot of water. So it would have to be probably early spring or kind of later fall, maybe leading into the Texas Open, who knows. But we definitely, I think last time in Savannah, everyone had a pretty good time. It's like 30 minutes from Tybee Island, which is a pretty well-known beach. I mean, the water's terrible, but the actual downtown River Street scene in Savannah, and I think a couple guys rented a beach house on Tybee for the weekend. It's a lot of stuff to do, and, you know, that'd be kind of good for the guys up north that make that drive and don't mind it, you know.
Right.
So I think Savannah would be a nice place to host it. Plus, I think a couple of the older guys would come out of the woodwork, you know, and come out and show some support, too.
Yeah. Yeah, so my initial plan, the way I have it written up right now, is it would actually start in December, and it would be one a month, and ranging from Northern California, coming right down through the deserts, across Texas, straight into the southeast, and then working way north as we get into the summer months, not to conflict with Palisades or Golden Stick. We want to want to support them, and we want their support as well. But it would be something fairly unique, and you're not out there like the old days having to run multiple tournaments, and it would be a much easier system. So that's what I have on the board now, that I still got to work it out. But I definitely would like to get something back down your way in Georgia.
Oh, we could absolutely do that. And like I heard Gary saying earlier, he's still watching videos online and stuff. And I like to look at footage, that's how I did my scouting, and I learned some of my stuff is actually watching videos on YouTube, of these different guys, and I would pick up on stuff they would do. But there's people like, I've seen some kids in Louisiana, I've seen some kids in Florida, and I've seen a couple kids, in the Carolinas that are playing, that put videos out and actually talk about Golden Stick and Palisades and Fast Plastic, so they're actually following it. And I think we could get a bunch of those younger kids and teams to go out there and expose to like a big time tournament, and they'll be hooked for the next generation to come, So,
right.
I think that would work out very good. That's a very good concept.
So earlier when I was talking to Rob, I asked him, what was there anything that jumped out from the Texas Open? Anything took home, impressions made? What about you? Did you have anything that you thought just jumped?
First off, like right off of the rip, the guys that I've played with, and like since y'all kind of quit the year that I started playing, I've just heard folklore about you and Texas Tim, and all the guys, and how Fast Plastic was this big tournament. And, that was what was really pushing me to get out there this year. I hadn't played for 4 or 5 years, and this new thing came around. I was like, hey, let's give it a whirl. And a lot of people don't know this, but before Matty Griff got with Josh and them, I was supposed to be on Pagano's team going there this year. Yeah. And that fell through. I wasn't sure on travel situations. It was really, really early on, like when it first came out. And I didn't want to commit to it and not be able to go and let them down, because I respect Pagano and all them guys. Evan, I've played against them plenty, and he messaged me back, was like, I think we're just going to get Griff. Not as much hassle, blah, blah, blah. So that's how that fell through. And then I'd say maybe a month or two before the tournament, Kenny and Didio and Robles asked if I wanted to play, and I was like, yeah, sure, let's give it a whirl. That's a pretty good secondary squad to go with there, So that's how that kind of worked out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been a definite interesting lineup with me and them. But like I said, I wouldn't take anything back from last year. Great group of guys, and I feel like we put on a show multiple times out there, and we took care of business when we needed to. But Cloud9 just came out on top, and no disrespect to Josh and them, but that was kind of our championship game. We went into that like, hey, let's get past this one, and the next one should come easy. We've seen the last 3 games. We faced Sylvia, and then we would have faced Steffi. Those are 2 very good pitchers, 2 different styles, and Pagano is kind of a combination between them.
Yeah.
He throws a little harder than Sylvie with the craftiness, but he does have the breaking balls and the trickiness that Steffi may not have just yet, but he's quickly catching on to it, if you could tell from last year.
Yeah, there were a lot of good matchups, that's for sure. So,
that was the next thing right there too. Just the level of play that was out there, just for the first year of it being back. I saw some old Golden Stick guys out there, and then Joel and them. I think I got to meet them. I shook their hands this year. We didn't get to talk much because most of us played pretty late into the tournament. But he was another one of the first guys I watched on YouTube. The whole sports science thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just nice seeing everyone come out again. Still
Right.
be too.
Well, we plan to grow it, get bigger and bigger.
Oh, yeah.
So, one of the rumors that was shooting around down there was your nickname. Everybody calls you Road Toast, but I heard it was Roid Toast because that you had been cutting huge slices of bread, making Texas toast injected with anabolic steroids. Now, we'll be testing this year.
Yeah, I figured y'all would be if y'all are looking at bats as much as y'all are talking about on the show. Then
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it low key. I've been using mostly deer antler spray. Main supplier Ray Lewis. I know he'll keep his mouth shut. He's done a lot of good stuff like that for me in the past. But no steroids. Keep my arm in shape with Bragg this year. But I'm kind of liking the new Roy Toast name. I think that one would stick.
Yeah, I kind of like it too.
But,
I like it.
yeah, speaking of Rob earlier too, that's the first time I got to spend some good time with him outside of wiffle ball, and he was the big shout out to him. He was the tournament chauffeur for the weekend, big time. Took a lot of people to the airport, took me included. I think he actually crashed with me I had booked a double bed or something. And I was staying an extra night, and he was too, because he had a family member in town. I was like, you can come chill and crash, or whatever. And we stayed up all night watching footage that he had, watching that home run y'all talked about. I think we watched that 700 times, but it was a good hit.
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, that's when I found out he was the Birdman. So he's the Birdman from now on. If y'all see Rob, that's his new name. It's not Skinny Rob anymore. It's Birdman. But yeah, he's a solid dude. But that and King, we went over to King's house, and I think you were over there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
And we watched some footage over there, and Steffi had some pictures and videos and stuff. And I mean, all of you guys, y'all are great hosts. I'm definitely hooked. I'm going back as long as y'all have it. Y'all got me in. But no illegal substances to speak of so far.
Well, good. Well, keep your arm in shape, man, and get Bragg and the guys out there and get some practice in. Get those guys excited about playing. I'd love to get some of those older players back. And
oh yeah, well it's been hit on again.
Yeah.
Wife and kids struck a lot of players down, but I'll see what I can do. I maybe get finagle a guy or two out there at the Nationals this year. If not that, then on the World Tour of Fast Plastic.
I didn't mention a lot of the names from down there in Georgia, but I'm thinking about you. I know you're out there. I know you're listening. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. Thanks.
Oh yeah, that was I enjoyed my time on the show, guys. Y'all are doing a great job. So keep up the good work.
Appreciate it, David.
Have a good night.
Oh yeah. You too.
All right.
All right. See ya.
All right, David Royd Toast Wood coming in from the Savannah area is what he said.
Statesboro.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a old Allman Brothers song, Statesboro Blues.
Okay. Yeah.
I could tell you a heck of an Allman Brothers story, but I'm not going to. True story.
True story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the Almond Brothers. They're the guys couple guys that work out in the fields out in California, pickers.
Oh yeah,
not the Allman Brothers.
Gotcha.
Well, JV, we ran out of time for callers tonight, didn't we?
Well, I mean, we did, but we could always stick around for just a couple more minutes. That way, we go out on a bang. If there is anybody out there that would like to call in, 618-200-9260. We're going to stick around for a couple more minutes before we hang it up. Give you a chance to call in right now. If you've got anything you want to add, comment on, or anything like that while we wind down, 618-200-9260 is the number. I think overall, pretty good show tonight.
Yeah, are we taking requests right now?
Yeah, we'll take a request.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wasn't too bad. Went by really fast for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why that is.
Well, I don't know, but I thought it was very good, very well managed on time too. Very good. So throw a couple thanks out to our sponsors: Burl's Chainsaw Shop, Camacho's Kazoos, Immediate Medical Transport, and King's Racing Stables. For the Fast Plastic Radio Network, we appreciate the sponsorship. Got a few new ones that's going to be coming on here when we return on May the 23rd. Remember, it's a reminder, no show next week. It's a national holiday here at WROC 93.5, home of the Fast Plastic Radio Network. So, well, I guess nobody wants to call in. So what do you say we wind this Berg down?
I'm good with that.
All right. I'm JB, and that's Billy O. Until May 23rd. We'll see y'all later. Have a good night.
I bid you farewell, arrivederci, sayonara, and all that sort of jazz.
What's that smell?
Adios, you chicken-plucking little stinker! Come on! Quit stalling!
As I was saying, Buster, this planet ain't big enough for the two of us, so off you go!
Well, I can't do any more damage around this popsicle stand. I'm out of here!
Fluffer and Succotash, I wish you'd reconsider.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
When I say whoa, I mean whoa!
Do I hear amen?
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Darn, that's the end.